Now, the Naira has continued its free fall since the unification of multiple exchange rates by the current administration. The Naira has lost over 22% against the US dollar and other major currencies, with grave economic implications on Nigeria's economy. Yusuf Akogu has more.
Commendations trail the president's decision to achieve a convergence of exchange rates, which experts believe is a better option.
This unification of the exchange rate is good. It's only good for Nigeria because it eliminates the black market and it stops fueling the black market.
With the national currency exchanging for 876 Naira per dollar at the I&E window, was the decision to flow the Naira right after all.
There are so many problems. Nigeria economy depends on foreign countries for a lot of goods and services. And then, of course, this unification that comes suddenly is the effect, the immediate effect of the sudden change. It is, but hopefully I'm optimistic that in no distance time the rate will match and it will appreciate our local currency.
Bureau de change operators whose businesses appear to have been battered by the federal government exchange rate unification policy described the purported Central Bank of Nigeria's decision to withdraw licenses of nearly 3,000 BDCs operators as fake news.
Revocation of license is it's a fake news, let me tell you, because it has not come to our notice, and whatever CBN does regarding Bureau de change, they have a way of communicating to us, and on this one we have not been communicated.
Analysts are of the view that with a more liberalized forex market, the pressure of the backlog of the unmet demands and other maturing forex-related obligations have been unleashed on the investors and exporters window. To mitigate this, the monetary authorities are urged to investigate this drastic growth in money supply and take steps to curb subsequent expansion. Yusuf Akogu, Trust Television News, Abuja.
Right, now let's double down and unpack some of the issues around this particular situation. Join us via Zoom at this hour is Mukhtar Mohammed, a financial analyst, to help us understand what is going on with the currency exchange and how poorly the Nigerian Naira is doing. Good evening, Mr. Mukhtar, and thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Right, first things first, what are your initial thoughts about this unification idea and this perceived liberalization of the entire industry as far as the exchange rate is concerned? Do you think it's paying off?
Well, depending on which side you are. If you are in the Bureau de change operator, you could say it's paying off because you are making more money. If you are with the state government, you could say it's paying off because they are beginning to share more money by the removal of subsidy. If you are in the banking sector, if you looked at the result from FBN Holding, the banking assets have improved also. So that, as it depends on where you are. But if you are ordinary Nigerians, it's having a lot of pains. But again, the policy is a good policy. But like I said before on your program, I have my doubt. My doubt has to do with where liquidity. Do we have the liquidity to support the Naira? If you say the Naira should go to liberalization or free floating, you also need to look at, do you have the liquidity to support the Naira? Because it doesn't mean because we are floating the Naira means that we won't defend the Naira. We will have to defend the Naira, either CBN intervening sometimes just to maintain stability. If you don't have liquidity in the system, then definitely you have leave your currency for market forces. And nobody leaves his currency for market forces, because market forces will always take advantage of your currency to make more profits.
So clearly, the big picture is that Nigerians are losing, and it is showing as far as inflation is concerned. So what are some of those steps that we need to take, especially on one hand where you're considering the liquidity crunch, where there's only limited amount of dollar, and we know economics 101, demand obviously increases the cost as far as the price is concerned. And also, what about certain economic policies that we need to do about diversification, reducing imports into the country, and all of these things that stresses the limited amount of dollar that we have in the country?
Number one, we need to look at where it's really getting the pressure on the Naira. Then is the importation of petroleum products. That will be sorted out if we have local refineries working, especially Dangote refinery, if it picks up. Just recently, you saw that independent marketers have also begun to import petroleum products into Nigeria. They also have source for FX. These whereby independent marketer, major marketers, everybody is beginning to import petroleum products. It will put pressure on the Naira, and that will increase the demand for FX. So definitely, those challenges will still continue. So to address that, we need to begin to look at local refinery coming on stream on time. For the consumers, we must begin to think of local products again and again, because we cannot meet all the demands of local product. The government also begin to think of taking a bite of their revenue, maybe reducing duties on household items that a lot of Nigerians are going to be using in their houses. So that will bring down the cost. For inflation, I think inflation have not flew that much, because before now, even the manufacturers used to accept FX at 750. They were not getting anything from the import-export market or from the government official market of 450 at that time. So definitely, I don't think the effect of them is as high. I mean, the effect of that is fueling a lot of inflation. I think inflation naturally is being fueled by the removal of subsidy. And if you look at the percentage of removal of subsidy and the percentage of what we have in terms of inflation, you will say it's not too bad, because we are looking about almost we're doing over 300% in fuel, and then we are seeing inflation steady at 22.73%. So definitely going forward, we might see those inflation numbers go up. Remember that this policy came in stream in May. We did not capture May very well. We captured June, but I think you will see the full impact of deregulation and floating of the Naira in the July report that will be coming out from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics.
Very quickly before you go, if you can put a projection on it, how long do you think this trend would last, especially given the fact that the Naira has lost 22% of its value against the dollar?
I wish I have a crystal ball. Yeah, I wish. Let me tell you how we could solve this issue. We have 4 means of attracting effect into our economy. Sale of crude oil. If that improves, that has improved in the last month. So if that continues to improve, we attract more effect into our economy. Thank God, what we are gaining before and then we lose in terms of refining petroleum product, we are not doing that again. Secondly, we need to look at the non-agricultural sector. We need to come up with formula for them to begin to attract effects. Like the policy of CBN before now was not working. Thank God that policy has been cancelled. So it may be an incentive for them to go outside their product and bring in the effects into. Later on, we see Nigeria in the diaspora also. There are those who that bring effects into our economy. We wait for them. We see that they will bring this effect into our economy by giving them, making sure that the difference in the FX rate are not much. And then lastly, we must look at the import. We must be attracting foreign direct investors and portfolio investors. If we do these 4 things, I think in the soonest possible time, we will get this thing right. We may not get it right anytime soon, but I'm projecting by the first quarter, we'll see stability towards the last quarter of the year. But by the first quarter of next year, we'll see the Naira takes its real value, because even the Bank of America, as it stands, have said that the Naira as it stands is undervalued. So definitely, we'll see that take effect. But by the third quarter of this year, we'll see stability a little bit, and then we'll begin to attract foreign direct investors and portfolio investors. And naturally, the Naira will take stability by first quarter of next year.
For all our sakes, I hope your projection is off by 100%. Mr. Mukhtar Mohammed, thank you most kindly for joining us this evening. I appreciate you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.